Well, it's Friday night after dark, May the 14th, 2021. And we're up here on floor 7 of the Gratu Orloff International Building of Trade, room 2. And I thought today I'd do a different kind of video, which is a primer, a beginner's guide for comic collecting. I've seen other people do it on YouTube. This is not beer, it's called the Rambler Sparkling Water. Okay. So you've seen a few superhero movies or played a few video games and you think you'd like to start collecting comic books. Okay, so what I'm going to say now is simply for complete beginners. And what I'll do is, when I finish with this lesson, I'll look at the time up there at the top and I'll write it down below. So those of you that are advanced comic collectors can fast forward past this part, and I'll put when I resume normal programming. I don't know how long this is gonna go, but it's just a courtesy for people starting to collect comics. Okay, so the comic book as a medium started reprinting comic strips from newspapers in the 30s. In 1938, superheroes started. There were already superheroes in the pulp magazines before comics. Pulps were magazines that came out with painted, lurid covers. They were printed on cheap pulp paper, and they weren't meant to last, but they were the same. They were the equivalent of paperback novels today. They were thick magazines, square bound, and they were printed in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and they had a lot more like the heroes of today that are kind of anti-heroes that actually kill people and all that. And they and each issue would usually be a complete novel that, would be as thick as a paperback novel today. In fact, a lot of those have been reprinted as paperback novels in the last few decades, like Doc Savage and The Spider and The Avenger. So anyway, so comic books start. The most comic books go back to Alex Raymond's Flash Gordon. That's the template for everything. That's where it all goes back to. And of course, Alex Raymond had his sources. But anyway, we're talking about comic books. So Superman, Batman come along, and from a company called National, later to be called DC. And Marvel, what we now know as Marvel, started with the Submariner and the Human Torch and Captain America. And there were a bunch of other companies too in there, Quality and Fox, and they there was an explosion of superheroes then, because late 30s, pretty much we knew we were going to war and we knew who we were going to be fighting. It was just a formality for President Roosevelt to completely ignore the fact that the Japanese fleet was heading towards Hawaii, then act like it was a surprise attack. When it was, if you cut off, we cut off the oil supply to Japan, so we kind of knew that there would be reprisals. But all those sailors, their lives were lost so that the people of the United States would be upset and want to go to war. Because in the newspaper said it was a surprise attack, and it was terrible. But the president knew it was gonna happen. That's not good. Anyway, so that has nothing to do with comic books. But anyway, World War II, the superheroes super popular. The GIs read them. And after the war, superheroes kind of tanked a little bit because after they've been fighting Hitler and all the bad guys, Tojo, why would you want to watch them fight bank robbers? So pretty much all the superheroes died except for Superman and Batman, and Wonder Woman kept being published. A few others like Plastic Man, maybe, you know, Blackhawk, but late 40s, different things were more interesting to the reader, which was crime, violence, horror, science fiction. Those comics exploded. Early 50s, some people still... Let me first explain that this period where the heroes fought in World War II, it's called the Golden Age of Comics. And for many years, the Golden Age of Comics has been extended to 1956. And there were all these great horror comics, especially from a company called EC that made Tales from the Crypt and Weird Science and Vault of Horror and Mad, which later turned into a magazine. That was really probably, arguably, the height of comic book history, EC. So some people now call that tail end of the Golden Age the Atom Age or the Atomic Age. I've even heard people call it the Uranium Age because it was no longer really superhero dominated. It was more horror and crime pretty much, dominated by those genres. Okay, so government cracks down, teachers are upset, parents flipping out. This psychiatrist, Frederick Wortham, doctor, writes a book saying that this is causing kids to become juvenile delinquents and all that. So they start burning comics, and they have Senate subcommittee hearings, and the industry brings in a little self-censoring board and they put a little stamp on the cover, the upper right-hand side of every comic book cover, to show that this comic book is okay for kids to read, and it doesn't contain the, you know, stuff like the bad guy winning at the end, or, you know, focusing the panel on women's breasts, and they got rid of vampires and werewolves and zombies and all that. You know, stabbing. They made comics tame. Well, when they did that, then DC, or also known as National Comics, they brought back one of their old heroes from World War II, but changed him up and made him more space age, atomic age, changed his suit, changed his identity, but he was still called the Flash. And when the Flash came, then they brought back Green Lantern, which was another hero from the Golden Age. And this is all in the late 50s, and they started bringing all their heroes back. And then a lot of these heroes from DC had a group, a squad called the Justice Society of America back during World War II. So now they brought them back, and now we're going to call it the Justice League of America. And when they did that, Marvel decided, hey, well, let's bring our heroes back too. That comic, Justice League's selling really well. Let's create the Fantastic Four, and we'll put one of our old heroes in there, the Human Torch, and we'll have some of the heroes from the old days guest star, like the Submariner. And then they started creating Spider-Man. I say they because it was not just Stan Lee. He was part of it, but yeah, Spider-Man and all of the heroes that are now coming out through Marvel movies, which is probably why you're wanting to collect comics now. Okay, so throughout the 60s, there was another superhero explosion. Let me tell you how you can kind of tell, just at a glance, comics from different eras. The Golden Age of comics are all going to be 10-cent comics. The new age of comics that started in the late 50s and through the 60s, that's called the Silver Age of comics. And after most of the Silver Age, the comics are going to be 12 cents. Here's the first few years of the Silver Age, they were still 10 cents. That changed about, I think, about 61 or so. They went from 10 to 12 cents. And they stayed 12 cents for a long time. You know why? Because our country used to be backed by gold, our financial system. So money didn't change value that much. Those comics that cost you 12 cents back then, for a DC comic, I think they're like $7 now. And they'll probably go up because of all the shenanigans going on now where they keep cutting off pipelines and pretending it's hackers. Like, do you really believe? Yeah, it's a hacking group called the Dark Side. They're Russian. Yeah. You know how you can tell the news is lying? You know the punchline. They're moving their lips. Pretty sure that was just cut off by our own. Wouldn't you think? Someone sent me a friend request. Withered Branch sent me a friend request on Facebook. Anyway, doesn't matter. But the prices of everything are going to go up. You know, so. Anyway, so, so the comics, the 60s, a really cool time for comics. Into the 60s, right about 1970, a new era of comics started called the Bronze Age of comics. The price during the Bronze Age, because it started at 15 cents, then it went up to 20 cents. Those are the great ones. 15 and 20 cent, those are the ones to look for. Then it went up to 25 cents. Then it went up to 30 cents and 35 cents and maybe 40 cents still in the Bronze Age. Most of these ages, the comics stayed one price. You notice, basically the Golden Age is 10 cents. Basically the Silver Age is 12 cents. But the Bronze Age ranged from 15 to probably 40, 45 cents. I don't know at what point in the 80s it becomes the next age, which is, I think, the Copper Age. You don't need to buy those comics. Pretty much just pretend that comic books stopped being produced in the mid-1980s. With a few exceptions, since then, you don't want to get anything from the 1990s. And I'm not sure what they cost in the 90s. I don't remember. Too much. Okay, so basically, if I were you, I wouldn't buy anything that had a UPC code on it. And I guess those were put on in the late 70s. If you're going to start with comics, don't waste your money on new comics that are worthless, or comics from the 90s that I guess people are starting to buy because they think they're... Don't buy anything with a UPC code. Save your money and buy the stuff that does not have a UPC code, because that's the great stuff. Marvel was doing a great job making movies. Maybe they still are, but they were adapting the stories from the 60s. And most of those movies that you enjoyed. And now, I don't know what if they're adapting stories from the last few years, but I hope they're not losing their way. See, this is what happened in those Star Trek movies. There was Star Trek, the first Star Trek movie, which was very slow and ponderous. A lot of people didn't like it. Star Trek II came out, people loved it, because it was more like the TV show. And in this movie, they talk about this Genesis project where you could create a planet. You could cause a planet just to suddenly become filled with fauna and foliage, just take it from a rock into, I don't know. So they had this early computer graphics where they show the planet just becoming wonderful, like the Garden of Eden all of a sudden. And then they kept using that over and over for, I don't know, 3 or 4 movies. It was about the Genesis, and that's how they brought Spock back. And it was just like, okay, do it like the TV show. Each episode is self-contained. I don't want to keep seeing references back to Star Trek 2 just because it was the only, the movie that everyone really liked. Okay, so there was a big event in the 1960s in the Fantastic Four, which was the best Marvel comic, but hardly anyone collects it now because they're after Deadpool and Venom and all this shit. The Fantastic Four was great, and there were 3 issues, or technically about 2 issues. That's true. I mean, it started in the middle of one issue. The next issue, the whole story was about it. The next issue, it was about half the comic. So it was called the Galactus Trilogy, where this giant, basically God, arrives on Earth and starts draining the Earth of its energy, and the Silver Surfer is his herald angel that comes and finds these planets for him to get sustenance from. The world almost ends. You know it's bad because Reed Richards doesn't shave and his stubble grows in. Oh wow, I never seen Superman start something so bad that he doesn't even have time to shave. This is big time stuff, and it's so great. And then Galactus is defeated, and then the next panel, Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, is going off to college, and he's going to have his first day at college, and it's pretty much, okay, something like that happened to the world. People would be traumatized for years in the real world, but this is a comic book universe. So, they do this Thanos finger snap bit in the Avengers movies, and everybody disappears, and then of course they defeat Thanos. They made a mistake, in my opinion. In the movies, they make it 5 years pass, and then the heroes finally get revenge on Thanos and then bring all the people that were killed by Thanos back from some alternate dimension. And if that happened, it would create horrible events for the people of Earth, because you're snapped and you're just about to get married, and you come back 5 years later, and the woman you're about to get married to is married to someone else and has a kid, and they're living in the house that you used to own because they thought you died, and then you have to deal with all that. Could that make an interesting movie, a science fiction movie? Yes, that would be a fascinating psychological science fiction movie. But that's not what I want out of my superhero movies. So we've got, Spider-Man coming back 5 years later, and he's in school with his friends that were snapped into the other universe, but everyone else, all of their other friends have already graduated college, or in college. So, because they didn't age, and they just start, so okay, that's interesting, but then they're dragging this on, movie after movie after TV show after TV show, the consequences of they call it the blip, and it's just, what happened to comic books being swashbuckling fun? They kill off Iron Man, who started their whole universe. The real Marvel comics started with the Fantastic Four. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, if you only know him from the movies, you think Iron Man was the center of that universe. Iron Man was the tutor for Spider-Man. That's not the way it was in comics. Spider-Man didn't have a tutor. In his second appearance, he's trying to join the Fantastic Four because the Fantastic Four were the big sellers for Marvel. So basically what Marvel is doing is, if an actor leaves or wants to get, leave, they've made enough movies and want to go on and do some other stuff in their career, they kill off the characters. So far they've killed off Captain America, they've killed off the Scarlet Witch, The Black Panther has been killed off, although they didn't do that by choice. Unfortunately, the actor passed away. And that's tragic. But I wouldn't immediately replace him with a teenage girl, because there are tons of actors in Hollywood that I know he did a great job as Black Panther, but Sean Connery did a great job as James Bond, and we've got other James Bonds. And what's going on with my eye? I'm turning into Joe Biden. It's like this eye's more closed than the other. Something's really wrong with me. So, yeah. So who else have they killed off? Oh, then they have Captain America go back in time to be with his girlfriend. Okay, so because he wants out of his contract or whatever. So now you've gotten rid of Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Black Panther. Because what is the point of that? Is it like what you're doing, Disney, with your Star Wars property, where you want to get rid of the old actors as quickly as possible, in the most disrespectful way as possible, so you can replace them with new, young, woke actors? You want to get rid of Luke Skywalker, who was the heart of the original trilogy. You want to make him into this disgusting old man that was about ready to just kill some kid who didn't even do anything wrong yet. You want to make him into this disgusting guy because he's a male, and that's just bad to be male. And you want to, and then you've got, Han Solo and Princess Leia. It's like a fairy tale. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So you want to believe they went on to live a happily ever after. I don't know what was in those novels that they've been printing for years. But that's the way that you imagined it at the end of Return of the Jedi. But no, they're split up, and he's gone back to being like the way he used to be, and Princess Leia's looks like an old meth whore, and then you want to bring back these old characters just to make them look bad and have them leave in horrible ways, so you can replace them with your new little crowd. And is that what you're trying to do with all the Marvel heroes? Because you pretty much killed off the whole all of the Avengers, and then you've got these shows that are, and you also killed the Vision, so you have a whole TV show dealing with a woman's grief about losing her husband, even though you started all comedic with all these little salutes to TV show, old sitcoms, but it's really about a woman's grief and what she's, in her agony and turmoil. So, and have you really brought back the Vision? Well, you brought back this white Vision from the West Coast Avengers, which is some comic that no one ever read, or no one even knew that there was a white colored Vision. I swear to God. And then I mean, I had fun watching the TV series, but ultimately, it's still going back to what happened in the Avengers Endgame, with Thanos, and then you got rid of Captain America, so now we're going to watch a movie about Captain America's sidekicks, who are interesting enough characters, but then it's all about some little terrorist group that I guess they're fighting for people that came back after the blip, and they're I guess they're super soldiers. Even though it's funny how when Steve Rogers took the super soldier formula, he became this giant muscular guy, and those people playing the super soldiers in that little terrorist group were just like average people. They should have been all bodybuilder, American Gladiator types, instead of some weird freckled little girl. So, ultimately, people aren't being really satisfied with these shows, and then, you fire someone that's beloved by the people that watch The Mandalorian. You fire her because she said something conservative on Twitter, and then you've ruined that show. So you've destroyed Star Wars. Are you going to destroy Marvel? You got Shang-Chi coming out, and maybe that'll be great, hopefully, but basically you're reduced to these grade Z heroes that nobody really knows. So will people respond to the Eternals? People responded to Guardians of the Galaxy even though nobody knew who they were, because you had interesting characters and you had a good director. It's apparently a good director in making the Eternals. The characters, if they're that interesting, why did you change almost all of them? They changed the sexes, men to women, and because no one even knows the Eternals. It was a comic. I remember buying more than a few issues of the Eternals back in, what was it, about 76, 77, just because it was Jack Kirby. And even as a 12-year-old, I knew I have respect for Jack Kirby. I'm going to buy what he creates. And then it's like so uninteresting that I don't have the whole run. Oh, back to the how to collect comics. Well, there's terminology you need to know. People talk about the run. A run could mean an entire series of a comic. Like, I have the whole run of X-Men from issue 1 to 693, or whatever they're up to now. Or sometimes it's just a run, you know, like I have the Chris Claremont, John Byrne run of X-Men, meaning the issues that these two people work together on that comics. So like the Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, their run on the Fantastic Four was about the first 100 issues, so that would be that run. So people use those terms. And then some people like to just get certain, they like to snipe and get certain issues that something important happens, like somebody gets married, and origin. It used to be the origin stories were the important ones, but they call them key issues. There's whole apps you can get for your phone, so you can look and see where are those key issues. The issue where Gambit first appeared, the issue where this character first appeared, and then some people only buy those, and then they don't read them. They check the condition, and they send them off in the mail and pay a bunch of money and wait about a year, and they come back encased in plastic. It's supposed to protect the comic. It's some company called CGC, and there's some other company that does it too. Then they're worth a lot more money because they've been evaluated by these experts. Then, and you think, well, my comic's protected now. Whew, I don't have to worry about ever damaging my comic by actually reading it or doing something that you're supposed to do with a book. But then people worry about the plastic being damaged. It's kind of like Dr. Keebler, Cookie Elf guy, Dr. F. Yeah, put on another one, you know, maybe 2 would be better. Or no, actually you don't need any of them. I said that originally, but now let's put on, it doesn't even make any sense. But now you've got your comic encased in plastic, but now you've got to look at the plastic. Is the plastic chipped, or does it have any flaws? So people buy bags, extra big plastic bags to put the plastic in. So you have to protect the protector of the comic book. And it becomes a whole insane rabbit hole of lunacy. My advice to you as a novice comic book collector is don't become a lunatic. Buy what you love what you buy. Don't buy things you don't like just for as an investment, because it usually won't pan out. If you don't like a comic, stop buying it. I've been going through tons of comics lately because I've been taking over the back issue section of a local comic store. So I'm going through all these comics. There was a big buy on Sunday, almost a week ago. This guy brings in several boxes of comics. And this guy that's selling them says, oh, these are my brother's. I'm about to move. I don't want to carry these with me. And the owner's going through them. Well, these aren't worth much, you know, there's tons of these. And then he gets to a certain box and he says, well, these here, this is good what you've got here, but the condition's not very good. So I hear that, and the guy says, hey, you know, if you could just find someone to donate them to. He's basically about to give them away. It's like, I just can't carry him around anymore. He doesn't want to take him home. So the owner went and gave him $200, and I thought, well, okay then. Those comics that he said were pretty good must be pretty good. So I go over there and look, and this guy had bought all the early, maybe not the first few of the new X-Men, but I'd say about issue 97 up through the 90s, and had a few of the X-Men, not from the 60s, but you never see the X-Men reprints from the early 70s, probably because they didn't sell, but the reprint of the comic where Spider-Man's with the X-Men, that one's worth quite a bit. And then the X-Men comic right before, what was 94, the first issue of the new X-Men, it was like 93. Yeah, and that's worth something. So, but it had all these X-Men's, you know, and it was all the Dark Phoenix saga, and all through the first Gambit and first Bishop, and they looked awful because the bags were stuck together and they were turning horribly yellow, mucus color. But when they came out of the pack, they were in mint condition, and almost every one of them was a Mark Jeweler variant insert. That's another thing that is a big deal now for those of you that are into comics now, getting into comics. It never seemed like a big deal to me because I just thought that's how all the comics were, because my dad was in the Army, and I was always buying comics of the PX, and there'd be a cardboard insert in the center with rings and stuff. But apparently people, they were sold on Army bases overseas, so soldiers could buy a ring or jewelry for their sweetheart, maybe back in the States. And that's sought after now, and it can increase the value of your comic. So yeah, there are all these X-Men Mark Jeweler inserts. I've never seen so many Mark Jeweler inserts. Every one of them, because the guy's brother was stationed overseas. So, interesting. And then I looked through them and I realized, okay, this is about where I stopped. I love the X-Men, and then when the X-Men cartoons started in the 90s, I loved that. But there are characters I didn't know that were in that. And that's because in the intervening time when I stopped reading X-Men and when that cartoon started, these characters had been introduced. Characters like Gambit and Bishop. I think I stopped reading not long after those they had these alien-looking things that were based on the movie Alien. And Kitty Pryde came in. That was because I think that's when John Byrne left. And I didn't like the art anymore, and if the art's no good, and then I was in college, and I was distracted by other things, you know, so yeah, I realized, okay, this guy just kept buying when I stopped, and I was able to look at and see, you know. And then in the 90s, they made comics by the millions, and yeah, I don't know. It just, I don't know what to tell you. If you're getting into comics, I got a few comics here. I actually have a big stack, and we finally found a date that my wife last night looked online. It says we're supposed to get our tax refund from the IRS on May 17th, which is Monday. So I got a big stack there. I pulled the 2 Kid Colt Outlaws for Graphic Man. I have them all in that pile so that I could get a kind of a discount with the stuff I wanted, the stuff you needed, and then Captain Strangelove asked for some comics, and I pulled those. I think except there was one Outlaw Kid that wasn't there anymore. I think that was issue 20. But all the rest of them I pulled, so I got a stack for myself, Captain Strangelove, and Graphic Man. And just go in there and just get all that Monday. And also in this buy from this guy, you know, some of the comics were kind of smushed. And I've never seen this before. One of the boxes were awful condition. It said some old company, Comic Defense System. But one of them, they had taken thread or dental floss or something and sewed back the sides of the comic box. Instead of taping it, they sewed it back together. Never seen anyone do that. But there were a few comics that he just, they were crushed, and he was going to throw them out into the free box in front of the store. So anyone coming in, just take these comics for free. But someone took the free box, because it said free, so they must have thought the box was free too, and not just the stuff in it. So he just tossed this out on the sidewalk. And then when I was leaving, I saw these comics, and they're probably worthless, but I picked them up because, you know, it's like the Island of Misfit Toys. I love those toys that were on that island. I would have been thrilled to get those toys for Christmas. So I can't just see an orphaned comic book just on the cement. I'll show you those comics. They can be flattened, and they're based on some kind of stupid toy. But they're Marvel under their kids' Animax. I don't know, some kid, they had a kid line. Marvel had a kid line where they would print whatever kid properties that they bought. But I don't know, Animax. You know, so Raiders of the Lost Fruity Pebbles. I'll have on Monday. I'll have a really cool haul video for you. But I don't know what this shit is. But it's I wasn't gonna let it get rained on. Here's issue 2 of Animax. Probably the first time anyone on YouTube has ever shown off a copy of Animax. See, this is the newsstand variant. That's the other thing now. People are, see how it's creased? It's sagged in a box. People are thrilled to see the UPC code because it was actually bought off a rack. Oh, here's issue 1 of Animax. I don't know. I'll flatten it with a bag and board. Let's see, this is still in the bag, that those horrible bags that had not been changed in decades. Let's see. There wasn't any old comics. It was just comics in the 70s and 80s and 90s, which I don't consider old because I am old. To me, old is 60s and 50s and 40s. This is the Inhumanoids. But it's really apart from this, it's pretty much in, if it's flattened, it's pretty much in like new condition. Yeah. Oh yeah, they used to call it mint condition, but now people are graded according to the CGC company, and people give number grades, like 0 to 9.8. I've never heard of a 10. I don't know if it's possible. I don't think they give a 10, but I hear people say 9.8. This is a 9.8 copy. Inhumanoids.
Let's go to the show. We're in the mood for a movie tonight. Come on, let's go. Somehow a movie sounds just right. Let's go to the show. Come on, let's go.
This really has to be flattened. I wasn't gonna let these be. They're probably worth nothing. Maybe they're worth something to somebody. I don't know. I don't really care what they're worth because I like them. Yeah, they're definitely based on some toy line. What year are these from? Oh, see, at this point, comics were 95 cents, and this is. I would not. Oh, as far as I guess what killed the, and I came back when they killed off and they had Crisis on Infinite Earths. The art was beautiful and everything, but they killed off these characters I loved, and then they compressed the multiple universes in DC, and I didn't like that. So that's when I started to be disenchanted by DC and Marvel. I think when they started their Secret Wars, and which was a toy line. This is 1987. Yeah, that's about when things went south for me, you know, as far as new comics goes. So I would say, yeah. And I see, I don't know why anyone would buy comics from the 80s or 90s or present day when they don't own every single Silver Age comic, because they were so much better. To me, Spider-Man's always going to be the guy going around New York on his motor scooter, and there's Gwen Stacy, and there's Mary Jane, and it's like Betty and Veronica. When they killed off Gwen Stacy, that's about the time I started reading Spider-Man, and I love Spider-Man. But when I saw those old 60s Spider-Mans, they were so much better, because in the 70s, he's just constantly on a rooftop. Oh, if I could have just saved Gwen, you know, it's just always this mooning about Gwen Stacy. And over in Mexico, they didn't have to put up with that. The publisher in Mexico that was reprinting the American Marvel comics said, hey, can we keep Gwen alive? Because our readers love this romance. So they just started drawing completely new Spider-Man stories where Gwen lived, and it went off in this other direction. There's a guy on YouTube, I think his name is Shamhala or something like, but he's done 4 different videos about those Mexican Marvel Spider-Man comics that where Gwen Stacy lives. Here's Inhumanoids #1. I think I've seen these stupid toys like at garage sales. And then he gave me, this is just stuff I got free. And then he was going to throw this away. And I think I already have this in a much better, it's turning the wrong color. But it's Steve Ditko stuff, reprints, but I'm not going to let this be put in the trash. And then Hercules. Oh, look at these. That's a cool ad. I've never seen this ad before. Wow. Be a clown. Be an Indian. Be a monster. You could never print that ad today. It's just put clown, Indian, and monster all together. And oh boy. They're not woke at all. How dare they? Ghost Manor. Yeah, if this is flattened, it'll be cool. Oh, and here's another copy of the final issue of Animax. I can't believe they ever canceled Animax. I swear I've never heard of these comics. But some of this shit's getting valuable, like that, Thundercats, and people are collecting some of this garbage. People a little bit younger than me. You know, I'm not going to be nostalgic for 1987 because I'm in college, but someone that was 8 or 9 years old in the late 80s, this is probably amazing stuff to them or something. So anyway, buy what you like what you buy. Always buy things that have 12-cent, 15-cent, and 20-cent price tags on them, or prices on them originally, and you'll be a happier human being. Oh, he just gave me this also. I think I already have this. Oh, I'm getting a call from Spam Risk. I think he was an old friend in college. Spam Risk. Yeah, Spam Risk is an old friend. And he has a brother named Sperm and a sister named Spamula. You getting a lot of those lately? you know something? I started getting all these spam phone calls when Obama became president, and now that what's his face, Biden's president, I'm getting them again. Because there used to be somewhere you'd register. I don't want to be on that list, and it worked. But as soon as, I don't know, maybe it's not their fault. But not almost every single thing that Biden has done since he got in office has been to damage the country. I mean, it's pretty clear. Anyway, yes. Yes, I have several copies of this. But I don't have one with the title gone, so this is... and so the owner was saying, someone must have tried to sell that for $15 once, and I said, no, they probably tried to sell it for 15 cents back in the 60s. But this is just a fun thing to read. But yeah, concentrate on the 1960s. If you can afford 1950s comics, great. Early 70s, great. 1940s comics, the golden age. If you're well off, if your father is the CFO of some big company, and then maybe you can afford to buy lots of golden age comics. But it's a responsibility because they're 70 years old and fragile, and but they're cool. So my lesson to you is buy comics that original prices are 10 cents, 12 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents, 25 cents. After that, there's some that are great. But anyway, that's what I was going to say. Spider-Man was that guy that his biggest worry was Aunt May and all that. But I think what turned me off was right about Time of the Secret Wars. Then they gave Spider-Man that black costume. I didn't like it, and that turned me off. And then, of course, that black costume turned into Spawn, and not Spawn. I'm sorry. All of this shit runs together in my head. Turned into Venom, and then there was Carnage, and I don't give a shit about any of that demonic crap. But that's what a lot of the new people like. I don't care about Venom. I never saw the Venom movie. I don't give a shit. Venom ruined Spider-Man 3, the Tobey Maguire one. If that character wasn't in it, if it was just Sandman, and if they didn't make Sandman the real killer of Uncle Ben, it could have been a really good movie. But they had to, because Sam Raimi's like me. He's a 60s, 70s Spider-Man guy, and when Avi Arad said, you need to put Venom in this movie so we can sell action figures, and he said, well, I don't even know who this character is, and they shoehorn too many villains in these movies, and it fucks it up. So I don't even know anything about Deadpool. I enjoyed the two movies. They were fun. But here's the question. In the Deadpool comics, is there that level of profanity? I mean, do they really curse like that? I mean, the older I get, the more I just insist that this is a children's medium. These were originally comic books for children. I know that the comics medium can be used to tell adult stories, but I don't like it when you take a character that was originally for kids and subvert it, which is why it was wise when they made the Watchmen comic that the original plan was to use the Charlton heroes that they just bought, and instead they changed them from the Blue Beetle to Night Owl, from Captain Atom to Dr. Manhattan, from the Peacemaker to the Comedian. That all made sense because Anyway, Rambler, our official sponsor. Okay, so we're right at 50 minutes and 10 seconds. And I'm done talking about all that. Some things will come to me later, and I'll still mention them, but I'm going to put down in the description underneath this that advanced collectors can skip the first 50 minutes of this video because I'm just talking to you novices. Buy what you like. Buy early stuff. Ignore people into key issues. Ignore people into grading their comics. Oh, never go to a comic store on a Wednesday because there's a bunch of people in there. People talking about Charizard and how much his hologram cards sold for that are there for the new comics. And never go to a comic store that doesn't have old comics. So you go into a comic store, ignore the table or display rack with the new comics. Ignore it. They might have flashy covers, or they might have 20 flashy covers for the same issue. Ignore it. Go to the old comics. In my humble opinion, that's what you should do. And yeah, so maybe Tuesday or Thursday would be a better day to go to a comic store, so you don't have to deal with all of that and the smells that come with that. And yeah. And Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane can't draw. Prove me wrong. Oh, I was going through this box last Friday. Some of you enjoyed that. Vintage teen rock and roll magazines. You'll have to come back Monday to see a comic book haul. So, let's see where we left off. Oh, we didn't see that. We didn't see that. We didn't see that.
Here's a film your conscience will never let you
We didn't see that.
And it's wild beyond
Where's
belief.
that?
Satan's Sadists.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, all right. Well, we got a lot to see.
Born out of today's headlines, a shocking
Oh, wow.
story of the wave
Oh, this is going to be a good show this evening.
sweeping our country today. Satan's Sadists.
Man. Hold on. Okay, I think this is where we might have been. Here's a copy of 16 magazine. Come on to our house. They want to perpetuate the myth of the Beatles all lived together in one house like they do in the movies or like the Monkees do in the TV show, right? Here's the fan clubs you could join. Again, I always start at the back of magazines for some reason. Yeah. Chad and Jeremy tell everything on each other. Meet Marianne Faithfull and Twinkles, her cat. No, Twinkle, her cat. Again, here's a look, Ma, I'm drawing. These are readers' submissions, drawings of their idols. So, the lucky number is 20. That's right, 20 lucky readers will win the lovely necklace shown on this page, and in the locket will be a picture of their favorite teen star. This is the necklace that you could win. Be like Dr. Strange. Yeah. course, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was a huge TV show. This is, what year is this? Probably about 1965. Yeah, they got you can tear the cover off and have a colored poster of the Rolling Stones. May 65. So, I was born in April 65, so this had probably just been taken off the rack when I was born. It's usually, well, comics are always dated, they always have the date a couple of months from the current date when they go on sale. Here's Beach Boys. What a great time for music about the time I was born. Yeah, 1965. This is probably a little bit later because it's got Bobby Sherman on it. Oh, definitely. Look who's in the center of the flower. Barnabas Collins. You got Billy Mooney. Is that idiot from H.R. Pufnstuf? Oh, but look at this. You've got Quentin Collins in the back. He was the big heartthrob. He was a werewolf. I think he started as a ghost and then became a werewolf. Am I wrong? Sometimes they have some pretty good spot illustrations in here. I'm listening to a lot of 1920s music lately. Dark Shadows Gossip. More and more of the DS gang are doing commercials for radio and TV. The whole true story of Dark Shadows. Oh, and here's A Time for Us, Romeo and Juliet. So that would make this, what, about 1967, 8? Let's see. Bobby no, 69. Why am I thinking? Yeah, 69. What am I thinking? Of course, 67 will be way too early. So they're trying to sell Billy Mooney as a teen idol in 1969. I guess when Lost in Space started, he was too young to really be a teen idol. So I guess they're hoping. But by 69, Lost in Space was canceled, and you had Land of the Giants on. So. But I know he ultimately became a musician, and he's a comic book fan too. So I need to be, I'm actually his friend on Facebook. Although the music he produced, I never liked that song Fish Heads on Dr. Domino, and he's behind that along with his pal. His pal was the son of a big movie star that was on Twin Peaks. He was on Twin Peaks. No, the Seeds are real good. Yeah. Man, I can't remember the app. I have to ask my wife. Maybe I'll go downstairs and ask her. There's an app on Roku that we discovered, and it has a bunch of old movies. And one of them is Artists and Models, which is about the comic book industry in the 50s. It has the Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis movie. Bobby Sherman was once a huge teen idol, but he's been forgotten. The only time I've ever seen it on television, a TV show called Here Come the Brides, which was, and David Soul, that's before Starsky and Hutch. There was a movie called Seven Brides for Seven Brothers that takes place in Seattle. And when we moved to Seattle, to Tacoma, outside of Seattle, that's the only time I've ever seen Here Come the Brides, the TV show, on syndicated television. No other market that I've lived in has ever shown that show. But the way they draw him like he's some angelic space alien, Bobby Sherman. Oh, this is Stefan Arngrim. He answers 40 intimate questions. He's the kid from Land of the Giants. He looks like he's the devil's spawn there. He looks like Damien, the Antichrist. My Secret Wedding by Bobby Sherman. Boy, I think before he was on Here Come the Brides, he was the host of, was it Shindig or Hullabaloo? And of course, the Cowsills are the family that the Partridge Family's based on. And the Monkees, yeah. Oh man, look at that weird drawing there. Dear Cher. Yeah. The Mod Squad. World's biggest pinups. Oh, Lancer. I forgot about Lancer. It's weird that Jonathan Frid was a teen idol. But I guess these sensitive vampire types have always been beloved by teen girls, including that guy that was in the, what's that fucking series called based on those kid books, Twilight. That guy's now the new Batman. I don't know when that movie will ever get released. No one talks about that. Who is that? Daniel Hennessy. Oh, isn't he in Dark Shadows? He's the kid in Dark Shadows, the real annoying kid. I think so. Could be wrong. I always wish Barnabas Collins would slap that kid. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he's from Dark Shadows. So it's like him and then the girl from Dark Shadows.
The undead comes the movie's most gruesome terror. It's Christopher Lee, now more horrifying than his Dracula.
Yeah,
And come to see
the people that played Romeo and Juliet were a good-looking couple, but they've been forgotten to time. Yep, 16 magazine. There's another copy of 16. Saj left. What's SAJ stand for? There's Davy Jones. Hard to believe that. Yeah, see the prominent place that Barnabas Collins is, Jonathan Frid. Ooh, they even mentioned Star Trek in here. So this is a key issue. Bobby Elvis Frid. The terrible secret they share, they're all vampires. TV and films are fun for viewers. Most times they're fun for actors, but sometimes things go wrong. And like a bolt from the blue, tragedy threatens to strike.
Well, when the herd gets that heavy, there's one cat who can help. They call him Black Eye. Baby,
See, look at that.
Black Eye's a
There's Jonathan Frid.
And he just loves a case where the buzzer failed. He's got one now. But it just might blow his own cool for keeps. That whole
9 Surefire Ways to Please Boys by Lucy Arnaz. If your teenage girl starts putting pictures of a middle-aged vampire up on their wall, is that a cause for concern? If this is the picture they put up on their wall, or should you be concerned? Here's Spec. I never figured out what SAL or whatever that was. Spec magazine. Obviously a spin-off from 16. Yeah, Davy Jones appeared on the back a lot of times. Oh man. All about Mickey and Peter from their sisters. They've written about what their brothers are like. Because, you know, they're going to be your sister-in-law when you marry Peter Tork. Or so you need to get to know them. Sonny and Cher. Oh my goodness, what's coming out of this cigarette? Look at this. Oh my gosh. It looks like it's a funny cigarette. Look at that, man. There's that picture of the weapon that they never used. They only use it in those publicity shots for the first season. Meet the Buckinghams. He's my friend on Facebook, Mark Lindsay. So I was talking, he was always going off on cruises with all the, I guess they don't do those anymore. Whew. You gotta be watching Rand Paul. Look up what he's been saying lately. Rand Paul. Guy's brilliant. There he is. Quentin Collins. Oh, and of course, Barnabas Collins is front and center among these teen idols. See him there? Of course, you always hear, and there's, so he's no longer Billy Mooney, he's Bill Mooney. Now, you know he's a big comic book collector, and always has been. When he was making Lost in Space, he would have his mom drive him. He was a TV star. His mom would drive him to a place called Cherokee Books in LA. This is the mid-60s. He even wrote a song. Look up on YouTube, look up Cherokee Books, Billy Mooney. He wrote a song about what it was like to be a kid going to Cherokee Books, and I guess upstairs was all comic books. And he in the lyrics of the song, he talks about falling for the Marvel Age of comics and all the Golden Age comics and what it was like going, all these weird hippies and barefoot people around. But it was oh wow, they cut a record album? Wow. Yeah. Who is this fucking idiot? I think he's, oh, Jack Wild. Yeah, he is the guy from HR Puff and stuff. But this is from when he was in probably, what was, he played the, was it David, was he in, wherever he played the little street urchin, Artful Dodger. Pin Jonathan Frid to your wall. I bet he'd like that. Look at this cool illustration sent in. I didn't mean to be disrespectful to Jonathan Frid's memory. He always said, I'm a confirmed bachelor. Oh no, they've got like a naughty centerfold of Bobby Sherman. And it says, I love you. Remember that fucking, was it in Cosmopolitan, the centerfold of Burt Reynolds? He's just like, he's hairier than the Sasquatch. There he is again. David Selby. I think he's still in soap operas. They even have little comics in here. Dream Girl. Well, that's actually kind of a cool. And let focus on that a little bit. I like that. Okay, oh, now we're getting into something cool, because now we're going back to the 50s. Cool magazine. It's the magazine for hipsters. America's coolest teenager magazine. So this is what Fonzie would read. Right. I don't even know who that is. Who is that? Oh, I love this. My wife would be fascinated by this. She collects vintage lipstick. It's Elvis Presley lipstick. I imagine that's probably sells for $1,000 now. Oh, Kay Wheeler was the president of the Elvis Presley fan club, and she was up in North Dallas as a teenager running his fan club. Lovable gay Xmas earrings. Style your own hairdo. I'm sorry. We're up here in the theater room. Just thought I'd show you. Oh, crap. What the hell? Anyway, so... hour and 11 minutes. And you're still watching. Here she is, Natalie Wood. What? Say hello to Johnny Matthias. I think they misspelled that. No, yeah, they misspelled it. They call him John Mathis in the article. Matthias, he was the villain in the Omega Man, right? Teddy Randazzo, co-star in Paramount's Mr. Rock and Roll. That must be who that guy was that I didn't know who it was. How could I not remember who Teddy Randazzo was? James Dean playing conga drums. I sure don't have that record. And yes, Tommy Sands did marry Nancy Sinatra. I had him mixed up when Anne Margaret married what's his face from that detective show. Roger Smith. Look at this Elvis Presley doll. Elvis Presley looks very psychotic. The Tim Considine fan club? Who the... I don't remember. I don't know who that is. I have to look up Tim Considine. Tom Smith will immediately know who that is and say, of course, Gratu, you should know who Tim Considine is. And then I'll go, oh yeah, that's right, I know that song. But there's a magazine called Hep Cats. Tom Smith is an expert on the history of pop music and humor magazines, and he's always watching. Well, a lot of things have changed since last Friday, right? There's thousands of gas stations without gasoline. There's a war in the Middle East. It seems like just a few months ago there were peace treaties being signed over there. What's changed? Here's a newspaper from KRLA, which was the big radio station over there in Los Angeles. And this one, man, it went to Marsha Lynn at this address in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So she's subscribing to an LA newspaper. Beatles split, Epstein mum. Oh, look. Beach Boys have riots on their English tour. This is in pretty good condition. Look at this. Attention. Casey Kasem may be able to serve you. Can you imagine having Casey Kasem? He could, of course, he was Shaggy on Scooby-Doo. He was Robin on one of the Batman cartoons. Oh, I've gone Super Friends, right? And then sorry. The Gratu Radio network is just really crazy tonight. What are they thinking playing all these sound effects?
Rich chocolate?
Rich chocolate? The Beatles are back. Visit their home. Again, establishing that they all live in the same house together. They're just like pals. They always get along. It's just like it was in A Hard Day's Night and Help. Oh yeah, have you ever freeze framed in Help? That they've got a piano in their house, and you know, the Monkees was mostly heavily influenced by Help. You know, they all live in this weird house, and they've got a piano, and then instead of sheet music, it's all these DC comics, and people have gone and they figured out what each comic was, and because it was something that the Beatles used to, you know, play the music. But anyway, it's just all Beatle pictures, as you would imagine. What they've done since their last visit, you probably don't want to know. I still call him Richard. Well, that was 50 cents, man. That was a lot of money for a kid back then. Oh. I wonder. This company is the Reese Publishing Company. Oh, well, I was just wondering, because for teens only, this reminded me of the Cracked magazine spinoff, which was called For Monsters Only, and I was wondering if this was put out by the same publisher as Cracked, and I don't think so, but the magazine For Monsters Only probably was a play off of For Teens Only. Glamour wigs. The greatest album of all time. Look, it's here. And they got the monster-sized Monsters ad in here. That looks even better than it did in the comic books. Record your voice at home. Now you can own the actual sheets, towels, and pillowcases used by the Beatles. Oh, man. That's disgusting. Musical TV bank. I promise you a lovelier figure, face, and new beauty in only 7 days. And X-ray specs, so people can admire your new figure and face. Well, I guess they can see your face. Well, maybe not anymore. Now you need X-ray specs just to see someone's face, right? Elvis's favorite subject, probably bacon. Ringo's Love Potion? Did they misspell potion? Potion? I guess that's a word. I'm used to hearing potion. The Day John Hit Sin. For the first time, this exciting story can be told. Don't read it if you can't accept the unexpected. I can't tell you how embarrassed I am, but I want to confide in you, John said. Listen to his confession. What is this? I'm a brain with a broken heart. No, please. Yeah, the guys would just ignore her because she has books. So books are bad. Well, for teens only. Here's Teen Life. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. Yeah, James Bond at least knows how to handle a gun. What's wrong with you, Ringo? Ooh. This is just heaven on earth. When 100 Surfink shirts, see, there's a giveaway of 100 Big Daddy Ross shirts, and then you got a full-page monster-sized Monsters ad. So this is June of what wonderful year? I bet 64. Let's see. And look, the first page is James Bond. No, I'm wrong. June of 65. So this would have been on the stands when I was born. Because in April, June magazines usually are on the stand. At least that's the way it works in the comic world. So I must say, I was born during a cool month. Okay. Oh, my wife needs to see this. They have stencils for your lips and your eyebrows. I guess they still have those. It's just, that's cool. Who's Who in Hitsville? Brian Jones. Yeah, they got their real name, when they were born, their physicals, their dating life. Brian Jones, it says, wow. Hobbies, music, Rolling Stones. His favorite food, he's a steak man. Pet likes, his fans, fame. Oh, I thought it was like, what kind of pets does he like? Pet likes his favorite things. No, it was... Donna Lauren. Everything with calories she loves. Donna Lauren is the Dr. Pepper girl. She's over here. See her there. I have a picture of Donna Lauren in just about every room of the floor 7 of the Gratu Orloff International Building of Trade. There's a James Bond contest in this issue. Wow. Gary Lewis. I liked his music. The Wrecking Crew really were behind the wonderful sound of those. I mean, I really love the song This Diamond Ring, which I think was the #1 song when I was born. Pretty sure. Oh, here, someone wrote on here, Ringo was married February 6, 1965. I love that. That's just a terrible thing for all the girls, isn't it? Here's a cool, wonder what that's worth. You have this giant sized poster now. $1.98. It says it's signed, but I'm pretty sure it's not real signatures. It's printed on them. Yeah, I've been doing some videos. I haven't had much time, so I just been doing videos on my way to work or on my way to like a hamburger place. And some people like those videos where I'm just driving around, and I don't get as many views on them, but and then that antique mall, when I went in an antique mall, and you just see the way my eyes dart around, I know what I'm looking for, and Spinner Rack Studios is saying, you just ignored that there was a comic display rack there. Why? And I said, well, I've seen that for years there. It's always said not for sale. And I knew the comics in there were overpriced because they never changed them. And every time I go in there, more and more damaged, and it's just depressing. This is Susan Nebraska filling a win a birthday surprise from the Beatles. She lived at 105 Pulaski Street. She was 13 years old. She lived in Connellsville, Penna. I don't think that's the right abbreviation for Pennsylvania. Connellsville, Pennsylvania. She was born October 23rd, 1951. My Beatle winning combination number is 1983. And 1983 is the year, don't buy any comic books after 1983. They were, get them from, trust me. Yes, indeed, Teen World. Oh, here's more issues of Dig. Someone must have drawn a mustache on this young lady and then erased it at some point when they realized this is not considered to be in good condition, folks. But it's from November of 1957, so let's see what's going on back then. It's on slick paper, so that's a plus. Look at this cool ad. Lots of great graphics in these old magazines, and a lot of times I would use photocopies of them when I was making my own magazines. There's the Tim Considine fan club again. Man, I don't know who the hell he is. There's Butch Wax. Look at that great illustration. And he's tall, he's terrific, and he must be very, very smart because he uses LB Butch Wax. All the hep guys prefer LB Butch Wax to anything else because it really trains a cut. Yet isn't messy and is good for your hair. Ask your barber, druggist, or supermarket. Man, what is going on there? Is that Medusa or something? Rhythm and News. This is cool. Look at this picture of Elvis Presley with a date. But what I was looking at was this ad, a musical alarm clock. Okay, so you got a musical alarm clock and it's got built-in frames where you can put pictures of monsters or your relatives. I would probably put like the creature from the Black Lagoon and maybe Betty Page in the other one. Well, I probably should put my wife in one of them. What am I thinking? What is this? This is Teenage Life in Nashville. They did this in this magazine. They would go to different high schools and take pictures of what it's like to be a teenager in different cities each issue. So it shows a dance, you know, or a hop. It's kind of like the pictures that you'd see in a yearbook, which is probably what they really are. It's a good way to fill up some pages, just get some yearbooks. But I think that's cool. Then everybody that lives in Nashville that's a teenager is going to have to buy a copy of this issue. So at least you ensure sales in that town that month. Okay. Who says Pat Boone is a rock and roll singer? More ads for hair care products for teenage boys. Let's see what kind of cool stuff we got in here. Hen house for chicks only. The Fabulous Little Richard. Introducing the cool ones. So you got a comic strip. What a great time to be a teenager. Dig magazine. This is February of 1957. Here's another issue. And it's got a variant cover on the back. Give Dig cards for Xmas. Or you can give a subscription to the magazine for Christmas. Bobby Darin. Okay. Here's this book belongs to Sue. See it there? It's here, the authentic Beatle wig package. Look at that.
Degrees at 306
7 p.m. Radio Crowd 2, 106.9 FM.
Let's go to a restaurant for a special treat. Let's go to a restaurant.
Two psychiatrists look at the Beatles. What's wrong with their minds? Oh, for and against. Beatle party for Beatlemaniacs only. Uh-oh, someone cut something out. Shit. Oh, the Beatlemaniac thing. You can be a Beatlemaniac. Get in on all the fun by joining the Beatlemaniac fan club today. So they mailed off for it. This is yeah, they cut some other stuff out of here too. Yeah. Can't trust those teenage girls to treat their magazines well, can you? This book belongs to Sue also, so that may be a bad sign that there may be stuff cut out of it. Well, right on the back cover there's something cut out. See? Oh, I can't tell what she cut out. Yeah, I can, because this ad is on the last one. Oh, she cut out the picture of all four of them together. Probably to put it in her binder at school. Man, she's cutting the shit out of this magazine. This fucking bitch. Susan Nebraska. How much makeup do you... This is the girl that cut everything. Let's find out about her. How much makeup do you wear to school? None. To parties or on special occasion? Perfume. At home? None. Favorite color? Red. The color I most often wear is red. What do you enjoy about being a girl? Meeting boys. What improvements would you make in your physical appearance if you had the opportunity? I'd change my figure. What is your biggest beauty problem? I break out in pimples. Oh, now I'm starting to feel sorry for her. She weighs 87 pounds. Color of her hair is blonde, and hairstyle is bouffant. She has one brother. She's in 7th grade. Yeah. Connellsville, Pennsylvania. Yeah, she's cut out everything, man. But that's, I guess, what teenage girls are supposed to do with these books, so. I mean, it gives it character, I guess. I'll have to rationalize it that way. Okay. Where am I at? I don't know where I'm at. Okay, I don't think we saw this one. This one has disgusting bug damage. Yuck. Board the banana boat in those A1 Beechers. July of 57. At least nobody cut out anything from this magazine. Whew. Oh man, we got so many books to get through and so little time. I gotta get some magazine bags and boards for these. Lily Gentle, A Wish Comes True in Magical Hollywood. You know this actress, Lily Gentle? Look at her eyes. They can't possibly be that blue. Let's see who's subscribed to it. Robert Stevens, 2144 Williams, Cincinnati, Ohio. April 1958. I'll show the Maybelline ad for my wife. She collects makeup, vintage makeup. Here's one of those. That's a cool ad. Who's that? The lovely Disney starlet. Oh, Carol Lindley. We talked about her last week. In these 50s magazines, they're trying to... I guess she was in some Disney movie. But I don't... It seems like they're trying to sell her as some new big star, but... Maybe she was, but I only kind of know her from TV movies in the 70s and from the singer at the beginning of Poseidon Adventure. Every time I go and work at that comic store, I'm a little less tired when I come home. I'm a little less sore. Sometimes I still have some pain from where I sprained or broke my ankle back about 12 years ago, as I'm on my feet most of the time, sorting through comics. And I used to be on my feet all the time in my previous job, but this last year has gotten me a little, well, a lot out of shape. Ever see Dick Clark with glasses on? Annette's Fun Diet. Man. Where did I leave off? I want to finish this box tonight. Oh, here's some good ones. Who did this one belong to? Lillian Rowe, East Oxford Road, 50, Paris, Maine. This is from Maine. Oh, look at that early depiction of the chipmunks. The chipmunks were given a definitive look from the Saturday morning cartoon, but before that, they looked more like that. And this is January 1960. Kooky cards. Oh, look at this. Debbie Reynolds. If you've never seen Singing in the Rain, you need to see that. That was a damn shame. Carrie Fisher passed away, and then her mom, Debbie Reynolds, passed away like a day or 2 days later, just from a broken heart. That was a rough Christmas. And you thought, well, if she at least got to finish filming the Star Wars movie, she'll be... And then it turns out to be this stupid thing they filmed where Princess Leia's kind of floating through space like Mary Poppins. It's like, what a ridiculous... It's a shame that she had to go out that way. Patricia Pascal, 2261 Sunrise Avenue, Nashville, Tennessee. A lot of people subscribe to this magazine. Ooh, Sandra Dee's on the back cover. That's Frankie Avalon on the cover. That would wear a cool hat. Where was it? I can't. Oh, here it is. Betrayed by a fickle deodorant. Switch to Veto. Veto protection lasts all day. The amazing Sherry Lewis. Sorry. Fabian. Fabe says, I'm here to stay. Is the fabulous one a flash in the pan? I'll let you make the determination. I guess that song, Turn Me Loose, is a pretty good song, but was he the new Elvis? No. They needed a new Elvis because Elvis had been drafted.
Let's go try something new. Don't you think we could, don't you think we should?
Hello, everybody. Halo Shampoo. Halo Shampoo used to sponsor the Gratu Orloff show last summer. Last September, they were one of our sponsors. It says, if the movie doesn't, you should win an Academy Award. This girl's carrying her boyfriend out of a horror film.
6.9, it's fucking hot out there.
I'm here to stay, says Fabian. Oh, Connie Stevens made the cover here. What is it, love or cheeseburgers? Ooh, look at that. Big Daddy sunglasses. Wow. They're free with your subscription to Teen Magazine. 18 big issues for just $2.97. Can you imagine? $2.97. You get all these magazines today. $2.97. You can't get anything. There's Annette Funicello's Round Bed. Oh, here's Big Daddy. See, he had his own little cartoon in Teen Magazine, so you could get his glasses when you subscribe. Cool. That's October 1960, by the way. This one doesn't seem to have a cover. It's from March of '61. Ooh. Look at this ad. Tiki Club, or Tiki God rather, lipstick. How close am I to finishing? This is Janet Lennon of the Lennon Sisters. They were on the Lawrence Welk show. Made for each other. Look at this soda pop shades. I'm showing that for my wife if she ever watches this episode. Oh, they got like a... They're trying to be like Mad Magazine here. See, they got like a Mad Magazine kind of feature. So, I hope this doesn't open up a whole new rabbit hole of collecting for you, Tom Smith, out there, that you'll have to start getting Teen Magazine to keep your Humor Magazine collection complete, because they do seem to have a lot of cartoon humor in here. Probably because Mad was such a big seller. Here's another coverless issue. This is from October, because it says October there. Someone wrote it there. October of blah blah 61. Wow. Cool. Let's look at two more. She might have this sparkler or firecracker a little too close to her face, but she looks like she's nuts. See, Janet Lennon, these Lennon sisters seem to be popular in Teen Magazine, November of 61. I don't think Teen Magazine was as cool as magazines like Dig or Cool Magazine. Who I don't think those magazines would put the Lennon sisters on their front covers. But I'm not knocking the Lennon sisters, I'm just saying it's they're certainly not rock and roll. You know, Janet's Secret Life. But they were like a young act on the Lawrence Welk show, so if your parents are watching that show, suddenly there's like girls that are your age on there, and so I guess they must have achieved some fame to sell covers. February 1962 of Teen. Is killing me, but I'm gonna get into shape if it kills me. Hopefully it won't kill me. I'm at 252 pounds this morning. I need to be under 200. I said I'm gonna start saying my weight on these shows to try to start holding me accountable. I've pretty much given up drinking soda pop, so I was drinking that sparkling carbonated water there, and only occasionally, like sometimes at work, there'll be like a free Dr. Pepper there, and I'll do that just for the caffeine to keep going, but I'm not drinking them like I used to, and think I'll start losing a little weight. And then this week I've got to get over to some other half-price books because I promised Graphic Man I would find more of these PS art books. I've got for Graphic Man, these are the two I picked up so far. Adventures into Darkness, which has these comics in it, and this Adventure into Darkness. And I've got those two Kid Colt Outlaws that you wanted me to get that are in my pile at work, and then these are in my personal collection that I had doubles or in one case triples of, so I'm putting these in the package. These the cover's great, but I got them here safe. So I think we'll start on, we'll do the others because my back is killing me another time, and I got to go in there and get the blow up bed ready for my friend Gerald, who comes over here on Friday evenings to spend the night. Okay, so what do I need to do? Oh. Whoa. I was using this Pac-Man game to prop up the phone so that I could record this episode. Put it over. Where am I going to put this thing? Here. Okay. All right. You know, these weeks, every week passes quicker and quicker. It's getting surreal. It just seems like it was just Friday night. Okay, I turned off the projector. I'll come back and turn off the console stereo. Okay, good. The cats like the new cat food. That's always good. Okay. And we're in room 3. Let's get the radio on. Come on. There it is. Okay. See that Gratu radio broadcast all through the house on 106.9 FM. Let's get this Let's get this inflatable bed blown up, and I'll go down and see what entertainment is on YouTube. Whenever I'm away from the news for a couple of hours, I don't know what horrible stuff might happen. Seems like things are... Oh, I hear they're starting to build the wall again today. Pretty ironic. My friend put on Facebook, he said, if you were able to communicate with yourself back 2 years ago and explain to them what was going to happen, you know, like over the last year, how would you explain what was going to happen? And I just put several words. I put Blofeld, Spectre, the Omega Man, and what else did I put? Something else. I forget what else. But yeah, it's all a bunch of, because you know, Ian Fleming was a high-level OSS guy, MI6, and the stuff he wrote about in his books, you think it's just crazy stuff, you know, Blofeld, and then you see and hear him talk and listen to what he writes. This German guy, Klaus Schwab, that looks just like Blofeld, and what he wants to do to humanity, and then you realize, oh, it's all being done. Interesting. And then you got these people like Epstein that want to, and Billy Boy that want to kind of depopulate the earth and create a master race with their own progeny on secret islands. It's right out of, the only problem is, where's James Bond to rescue us? I don't know. Maybe it'll all work out. Listen to the things that Rand Paul has been saying lately. He and his father are good men. And there's a guy I like to listen to on YouTube. Man, he's right out of high school, but he's so wise and cool. Look up Behizy, Behizy. He can't be more than 20 years old, and this guy he's so into all the news. Yeah, he's barely out of high school, and he's filling me in on the news and what's going on. And then there's this little girl that's probably about his age, named Reese Flex, R-I-S-S, and then Flex, F-L-E-X. And she does a really good job covering the news. She's starting to have a lot of commercials in her show, but it's interesting to see these young people that are woke, awakened to what Spectre and Hydra are up to. Yeah, I should have put, you know, Captain America the Winter Soldier. Oh, that's what I put. I put Blofeld, Spectre, Thanos, and the Omega Man. But now I should have put Hydra and Captain America the Winter Soldier, because that plot where it turned out that the evil organization had infiltrated just about all the high-level offices. You know that's what's happening. Okay. Alright, we got this mattress down, and then we can put this little mattress on top of it. And then this stupid pillow. And it's all ready for my pal Gerald. And I guess I'll turn off the music. Indeed. Okay. Okay. Now, I wonder if there's the kitty litter. It might need to be cleaned out a little bit. That's always a good thing to do. That's the sound of me cleaning the kitty litter box, but I won't show it to you because this is a G-rated television program. Wonder if John Waters will make any more movies. He seems to be kind of retired. But you know, the movie Hairspray, the real Hairspray, the one that he made, not the musical, is pretty much sums up those magazines that we were just looking at. Okay, well, I got a bag of turds, and I'm covering up the camera. And I got my cord, my electrical cord. I got some underwear to throw in the washing machine. What time is it? If you know the time, if you could put it down below so I will know what time it is. Okay. Let's put the turds down. Go in here. Shit, motherfucker. Motherfucking shit. Cocksucker. Throw away my Rambler sparkling water, the sponsor of tonight's television program. Okay. Well, hope you have a wonderful Friday evening. And I really appreciate all you guys that watch every episode. And when we're up to 250 subscribers. So I should have made that a big deal tonight. But anyway, I will be seeing you.